What is up, guys? You are listening and watching the Reunicles Radio. Today I have a deck profile for you guys of a deck I have been wanting to build for so long and finally finished and finally tested it out a couple times in some decks. Got it all up and we're about to get started. So the first 3 cards in our deck is Ninjask. Ninjask's main ability, which we are going to be using, Wing Buzz. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. That's great. So, for discarding 1 card from our deck, discard the top card of our opponent's deck. Or, discard a card from our hand, discard the top card of our opponent's deck. So, you probably already guessed it, it's Mill. For those of you that do not know what Mill is, it's basically trying to deck your opponent out. It's one of the 3 ways to win a battle. In order to run Ninjask, I must run something else. Nincada. Run 3 Nincada, 3 Ninjask. Basically mandatory. Not too much going on. I think the only thing I'm going to complain about is that Nincada only has 40 HP, which is pretty low, and I wish it had a little bit more, and retreat cost is 1. So not really too much going on there. Next up, if we're running Mill, we almost have to run this. Bunnelby. Basically, his Omega Barrage, I'm going to call it a special ability, allows him to attack twice. Burrow is his main attack that we will be using. Discard the top card of your opponent's deck. So you can use that twice and discard 2 cards off your opponent's deck. And that's pretty good. And then his second attack, I have used this a couple times, not as much. Rototiller, shuffle a card from your discard pile into your deck. You can use that twice, so you can Burrow Rototiller. But whatever you want. It can get back supporters, anything that I may need, because I don't run Versus Seeker, because I'm scared of item lock. I don't want to battle an item lock deck, I really don't. It's not going to really kill me, but next up we have Carabank. Basically, Carabank's safeguard ability prevent all effects of opponent's attack, including damage done to this Pokemon by opponent's EX. So it's a good card to stall out my opponent. Maybe if he only runs EXs, just frankly win the whole game. And otherwise, maybe just buy me 1 turn to set up. So that's basically Carabank. Pretty nice card. Next up on our list, we run 2 copies of Durant. Durant is a very, I'm going to say, unknown Pokemon. He's known, but this card really is taken for granted. Mountain Munch does 10 damage and discard top card of your opponent's deck, and you're probably wondering, for Grass Energy, why wouldn't she use just Bunnelby? Well, this is why. It's a technical attack. Scrape down. If this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, discard the top 4 cards of your opponent's deck. I think the reason why people don't want to use this is because it costs 2 energies and it has to have damage counters, and they don't want to get that out. I think they're just being lazy, or they haven't really tested him out in any decks. But I think he has a ton of potential. Next up, this is kind of another card taken for granted. Fungus with the Play Ball ability. When you play this card from your hand into your bench, you may put 3 Pokeball cards from your discard pile into your hand. So, pretty great. Recycle Pokeballs, Level Balls. Well, mainly in this deck, Level Balls and Ultra Balls. But basically, that's it. Level Balls, Ultra Balls, recycle them, and get them back. Can help me reset after a large takedown. My opponent knocks out several guys. I might need to just really come back, and that's the only way how. So, last but not least, we have Mr. Mime. Basically, bench barrier, prevent all damage done to your bench Pokemon by attacks. That's his ability, and it's pretty great. That's pretty much all I have to say about Mr. Mime. He's not too big of a deal in this deck, but he is pretty good. Just going to protect me against decks that will deal damage to my bench. Now, on to our items and tools. Fighting Fury Belt is going to add 40 HP to the basic Pokemon this is attached to, and it's attached to 10 more damage. I could care less about it doing 10 more damage. Now, what I really care about is the 40 more HP. That is huge. Bunnelby only has 60 HP. Same thing with Durant. He has 70. Like, it's fairly low for a Pokemon card. And Fighting Fury Belt, giving it 48 more HP can mean a knockout. So, it can mean the world to me and Bunnelby and Durant. So, we're going to use that. Give him some more HP. By the way, I am going to do a battle video about this, if you don't already know, soon, at least. Okay, Floatstone, which is basically, it gives the Pokemon it's attached to free retreat. So, it's pretty good since Bunnelby has 2 retreat costs and Durant has 1, which is not too bad, but it can still come and bite me back. And, I mean, it's a nice card to have. It can just be added onto a card bank to hold him up in the active for a minute and then bring him back out. But one of those. And now onto our official items. No more tools. As you might have already heard when I was talking about Fungus. Oh, I'm sorry. I went for Level Ball. Sorry I knocked over the camera, guys. Trying to put down the card and then boop. Okay, so for Level Ball, basically, I get to search my deck for a card or a Pokemon with 90 HP or less. Now, if you might have already noticed, all the Pokemon in my deck have 90 HP or lower. So that's basically a free Ultra Ball. So, great card. And I can easily get those back with Fungus. Now, next up on our list, we also run 2 Ultra Balls. Just discard 2 cards from your hand if you do search your deck for Pokemon revealing and put into your hand. So you guys are probably wondering, why do you need to run 2? I mean, you run 4 Level Balls and then a bunch of Fungus. I have gone into this problem where I don't have any Level Balls, or I have 1 in the discard, but I don't want a Fungus for 1 Level Ball. Like, that just seems silly to me. So Ultra Ball is a nice card to just have and be able to use quickly. It's really nice. Pretty good. So I really like it. So next up on our list, we have Super Rod. Hang on, let me get the card. Super Rod. What Super Rod does is shuffle 3 combination of any Pokemon and basic energy card from your discard pile into your deck. Recycle Pokemon, pretty good. Can be paired up with Fungus and Level Balls. Just get them back after your opponent knocks out Pokemon. I'm going to try to speed this up, guys. We run 3 Trainer's Mail. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck, and you reveal a trainer card you find there. If you don't know trainer cards. But it's a nice way to get a supporter if I don't have one. Maybe get a Level Ball. Something that I might need in my deck. I mean, it's not too good, but I do find that it helps me in a lot of situations. I run 2 Switch. Basically, switch your active Pokemon with your bench Pokemon. Kind of mandatory. It's good to switch Pokemon as the active. There are cards to add to your retreat costs, so I really rather run 2 Switch than like Escape Rope. I was told to run 2 Escape Rope, just as very disruptive, but I do not want to run 2 Escape Rope. I just feel like it might help my opponent. Run Random Receiver, reveal the top cards of your deck until you reveal a supporter, and then shuffle the other cards back into your deck. So it can help me get a supporter if I don't have one. Same thing with Trainer's Mail, just a little better. Special Charge. Shuffle 2 special energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. Again, to help recycle cards that have been discarded, maybe with Enhanced Hammer or Knockouts. So, pretty much that's going to wrap up our items. Next up, we have supporters. For my supporter line, I do hope to get more of these, by the way. Oh, I'm sorry, I keep knocking the camera today. 3 Professor Juniper. As I just told you, well, I just want to try to get more. Maybe 1 more, but I'm using a bunch of them in my deck. So search your, discard your hand and draw 7 cards. So you either see Professor Juniper and Professor Sycamore in every single deck. So just gonna help me get a new hand. And in this deck, you might have already noticed, but we don't take any prize cards whatsoever. So in that case, I run 3 Strainers. Each player shuffles his or her hand into his or her deck and draws 6 cards. Your opponent draws 3. You can only play this card if your opponent has more prize cards than you. Or you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent. My opponent's probably going to take a knockout very quickly with the low HP that my Pokemon have. So 3 Strainers, it's going to put my opponent to a 3-card hand. He has 6. It's pretty good. I do hope to replace 2 of them, though, with N. Just in case there's a mirror match and my opponent doesn't take prizes either. Each player shuffles his or her hand into his or her deck, and then each player draws a number of cards to his or her remaining prize cards. So, you can get me up to 6 cards. Pretty good. Help in the late game. Another card that I run. Most of my Pokemon in my deck are basic, so I run 2 Ninja Boy. I hope to run 1 more if I can find the room. Basically, choose one of your basic Pokemon and play search your deck for basic Pokemon and switch that with that Pokemon. Any cards attached to it damage, all special conditions will stay on the Pokemon, and then shuffle the first Pokemon into your deck. So if I'm stuck with something like a Carbink or a Bunnelby or something that I do not want on the field, including Fungus, I don't want to keep a Fungus on the field. He's 40 HP, easy knockout. I can just Ninja Boy him away for something that I do want on the field, like a Durant, maybe, or a Nincada. I mean, sometimes I might even want to search for something else and get rid of a Nincada. But next card, it's a replace for cards that got into the expanded format, like Super Scoop Up. I ran 3 in the deck before it got banned. Yeah. So flip 2 coins for each head, score 2 cards in the top of your deck. SC Market's handiwork. This is a mill deck, trying to deck out your opponents, so that can come in really good handy. Great card to have. One other card that I have, I run 1 Skyla. Search your deck for a trainer card, reveal, and put into your hand, shuffle your deck afterward. It's situational. I mean, it's not, it's just a very situational card. I haven't really used it too much, but I'm running Mill, and I run Delinquent. Discard a Stadium card in play. If you do, your opponent discards 3 cards from his or her hand. Really disruptive card. Again, situational. Depends. It's not discarding off the deck, so it's not my favorite. Next up, we have Pokemon Ranger. Remove all effects of attacks, including attacks on each player and his or her Pokemon. Again, situational. Depends on the deck that I am battling. But I do not want to get into a situation where I just can't do anything. I'm stuck with the Toad in the active for my opponent, and then he just keeps item locking me. I love to play my items, so just gonna go ahead and Pokemon Ranger. 1 Hex Maniac. Till the end of your opponent's next turn, each Pokemon in play, each Pokemon in play in each player's hand and each player's discard pile has no abilities. Shutdown abilities, stuff like Trev Break, Vileplume. Any other annoying abilities, Keldeo, EX. Oh my gosh, this keeps falling over. I am very sorry, guys. For stadiums, 2 parallel city, basically, whatever way it faces. This way, if you face it towards your opponent or me, they can only have 3 bench Pokemon, pretty disruptive. This one, basically, which direction it's facing, whoever opponent, the Pokemon's attacks for their fire, grass, and water types are reduced by 20. So, disruptive card. Plus, it's a good counter stadium. So, nice card to have. Now to the energies. I'm going to try to wrap this up right now. For Rainbow, Durant needs a damage counter to attack with his Scrape Down to discard top 4 cards. And basically, when you touch a Rainbow energy, it counts as any energy. But you have to put 1 damage counter on your Pokemon that you attach it to. So, get the damage counters on Durant. That's why Special Charge also comes in handy. I don't know if you guys remember. And then 4 Grass energies. I've got Bunnelby. I've got Durant. So, plus I might want to retreat with Pokemon if I can't play items. So, that's basically going to wrap up our deck, guys. So, if you guys are interested in this deck, please rewatch the video, subscribe, comment, like, watch more videos. But that really is going to wrap it up. You just listened and watched the Reuniclus Radio. Thanks, guys, and bye.